Welcome back to Not Another White Moderate with Veronica, speaking truth to power every day of the week, talking about things like race, religion, and maybe other ways in which we're divided. Good morning, Grand Rising. Welcome back. This morning is, I haven't been speaking truth to power every day of the week. I've been busy, been dealing with my own personal trauma and drama again, right? It's hard to record podcast episode when you're dealing with bullshit, for lack of a better term. So I'm back. Please don't let my absence be indicative of any sort of lack of thought process, lack of things to say. I think a lot of it just has to do with the appropriate time, the appropriate place, the appropriate manner, and people being ready to receive. So, and then I've also just been busy with crap, like literal crap. And those will be coming up on future episodes of the podcast. Just have to finish processing the trauma to be able to appropriately deal with it in a productive way for the world. So on this first episode back, today's going to be a lot more like commercial. It's going to feel like a commercial, and I don't mean for it to come off that way, but it's also where we're at today. So the first thing I want to talk about is my Instagram name, and also it's the name of the YouTube channel, right? So it was, and the name of the podcast is Not Another White Moderate. Talked about that at the very beginning. Striving to be more than just another white moderate that MLK warned us about being the biggest impediment to change. And so my name, Not Another White Moderate, the name of the podcast, my website, everything has been, really striving to be more, to not be an impediment to change, to not be a hindrance to healing, to not be the stumbling block to real progress. However, I have also, I'm simultaneously, as everyone is, on their own spiritual journey on figuring out where they are. And one of the things that has come up several times in my groups with my soul sisters and people that I really love and care about words. I've talked about it before on here, like words have power. Words are inherently built with power, but they also have the power we give them. And so Not Another White Moderate on some level it's like that negative indication, right? It's saying what I don't want to be as opposed to what I do want to be. It's saying I don't want to be an addict rather than like I would like to be a whole person who doesn't feel like they suffer from those things. So it's just sort of the framing. And so I've messed around. I had messed around with different IG names and couldn't figure out what felt appropriate. And so, it's real, radical, revolutionary. The podcast will stay the same. I think the idea, the intent, where I've come from, Not Another White Moderate, like that is completely valid, has not gone anywhere. But I think it's really, for me, more about embracing and more about honing what I want to embody, what I want to be, as opposed to saying what I don't want to be. It's not that I don't want to be that anymore. It's just that I'm trying to frame it in a different way. So Not Another White Moderate is the same as Real Radical Revolutionary, but in a different way. So that's number one. Number two, this is still, I guess it's not really commercial yet. This is just an explanation so far. Number two is really important. So I'm going to do a separate one for this, but if you are watching or listening, and like coders, programmers that are good people, please reach out to me. Like coders, programmers, computer, IT people who are good people, who are, for justice. Please. And then also like content, collective, collaborators, creators, healers. I'm blessed and privileged to be able to be in community with a lot of you already. And so like, you already know who you are, and thank you for being you. But also if you're watching and you know somebody else, it's time. It's time for us to get together. So That's number 2. It's just a request more than a commercial, I guess. Number 3 is a mission vision board commercial. So one of my soul sisters, No More Trauma, Tanya, we are doing a vision mission board workshop together, January 31st and February 7th. Going to be amazing, dynamic, do not want to miss, transformational. It is recalibrate your purpose in 2021 on your terms. And so wasn't expecting Amanda Gorman's inauguration speech yesterday, but it was so inspiring and confirmation of purpose, of being on a divine path, of doing what matters. And so, yeah, please come join us January 31st and February 7th. But if you can only make one, you can make either one too, and you can still make it work. But we're offering it as come for both. So the first session is more presentation and conversation, and the second session is for accountability and working together. But there will still be like a recap. So if you don't make the first one, you can just come to the second one. Or if you can only make the first one, sweet, do it. And if you can make both, even better. We'd love to have you. Yeah, so you can see that's like on mine and hers, if you want to come to that. So more commercials. So here we are. It's the January 21st, 2021. Yesterday was dynamic, impactful, really exciting for a lot of reasons. And also, the work starts today. So I hope that everybody was able to enjoy yesterday and slept well last night. And if you've heard me talk before, and I'll continue to preach, good rest, good sleep is the most important thing as we move forward to make sure that we have, shout out the NAP ministry, NAP Bishop, right? And this is, yeah, so she did a live where she's talking about, of course I have clarity of mind. I sleep 10 hours a night. Like I can think clearly. So I'm reminded that my mom used to joke about, she's going to write a book about, parenting and things, and sleep deprivation is a form of torture was going to be the title. Get your sleep, get your rest every day, every night, take naps as needed, take rest as needed, go back, rejuvenate, and then come back for the work. It's going to be a lot of work, but we can do it. We can do hard things, right? Shout out Glennon Doyle too. So commercial. So today's the hard work. Today starts, got your rest, drink your water, eat your veggies, say your prayers if you're into that sort of thing, do your yoga if you're into that sort of thing. Take what you need to take, get some vitamin D, and get ready for what's next. So what is next, right? If you don't know, if you're not sure what that looks like for you, because I think the thing is that it definitely looks different for everybody, right? If you're not sure where you're at on that path, please reach out. Let's chat. I would love to connect, and even more than like coaching or anything like that, to connect and where we're at in the world and what happens next. I can do it as a commercial of like, come give me all your money, but I don't really, well, we'll get to that. The why, like I don't, money matters. Money absolutely matters. However, if somebody asked me what my motivation was, I would like to not be anxiety ridden about my Black child wearing a hoodie and walking down the street at some point when the time comes, and he is released and gets to, have that freedom. That's my motivation. That's my end game. That's what matters. And yeah, let's do it. Like, let's go. So if you're not sure what that looks like for you though, in this brave new world, yeah, let's chat. And even if you are sure and you do know what you're doing and you are on your path and you just want to connect about how we can further collaborate and work together, let's do that too. So things that I actually can coach around, things that I actually can coach and like connect around that I do actually offer, and I forget. So this is part of like the commercial. There's the video where this is a while ago. This is a long while ago. There's a video where I did that I hadn't realized, you know, I hadn't even like, I guess said even like publicly, like on my little healthy home cooking support group, you know, this is where I stand. This is how I feel. Black Lives Matter. If I haven't said it before explicitly, let me say it now, right? And so when I did that video and I was like, yeah, like I can't believe I maybe somehow missed this particular step, even though I thought I hadn't, but maybe I have. And if I have, let me correct that right now. In that same video, it's basically like, I really only want to discuss a certain set of topics at this point. And if you want to talk about these topics, please reach out and let's discuss. However, it's outside of these topics, like it might be difficult to get me without paying me. And even within these topics, right? Always operating on a pay what you should, not what you can. But yeah, so these topics, what if you wanted to connect with me and you wanted to do coaching or you wanted to talk about stuff, or like, what do I want to talk about with you? What are the topics available? If you want to talk to me of what I am willing to talk about with you. So in the video, I said 4 things. It was basically like food, which, yeah, food, absolutely. How to be better parents. I think like, and then sex, right? And then how to make the world a better place. And so I still do believe those are still kind of like, those are my 4 main themes of what I would prefer. I have lots of skills outside of those. But the price goes up if you want to talk about something outside of that. We'll just say, but there are lots of things that fall within that. So when we're talking about food, we're talking about nutrition, we're talking about health and wellness. For me, oh gosh, I have no idea what's happening. Okay, so, so within food, within nutrition, there are lots of options, right? There are lots of things that can fall underneath that. When we're talking about how to be better parents, again, a plethora of things that can fall underneath that umbrella. So for me, the idea of like parenting, unschooling, homeschooling, curriculum, you know, education period, parenting period. Again, as it relates to food is like my favorite intersection kind of thing. But also realistically, the idea of like, we're all just learning together, right? And so some people have more practice, some people have more expertise, some people have more experience. And so, yeah, as we learn from each other, that's one of the things. It really, really matters. And then, yeah, so I said like sex, but like dating, navigating, identity, shame, this LGBTQIA, I got like troll bombed last night for real the first time. And the idea of, you know, gender identity, if this is like something, you know, sexual identity, gender identity, like exploring these things, navigating these things for you personally, it's something that that I personally am navigating, right? That this has been on my journey, right? My pronouns, she, they, any, and like, what does that look like? And so, yeah, that's it. I've talked about ethical non-monogamy before too, right? So like that idea of like, how does that fit in? And the idea of like ethical non-monogamy being a possible path to a better future, to a better world, right? Yeah. And then also just in general, if we say, you know, how to make the world a better place. And I think that that is a very general thing that most people would say, oh yeah, sign me up. I'd love to discuss that. However, it's not as fun as it sounds. It's not as fun as it looks. When we're talking about how to make the world a better place, realistically, it's got to go back and start with us, right? And so it's very, very, very self-critical about our own behaviors, habits, actions, and understanding that, and I posted this before too, This is Sonia Renee Taylor and Dr. Gaba Blay, about, anything that I'm coaching on, anything that we're talking about, anything that we're discussing. It's not something that I've mastered. It's something that I'm working on myself. And you'll hear me say, and I say this a lot, like I'm preaching to myself first. I'm always talking to myself first. So yeah, what does that look like? The self-critical analysis, but discussing things like anti-capitalism, anti-racism, anti-oppression, Christianity, religion, world history, all of these things, minimalism, right? Climate change, take your pick. And these are things that need to be discussed, that need to be fully investigated together, right? So the question really, I think the last question is why? My motivation. And so I said this earlier, but I just I want to go back to this. I remember when I was growing up, distinctive, there was a commercial, or maybe like a series of commercials. It's called Don's Guns. And at the end of the commercial, he says, I don't want to make money, or I don't like to make money. I just love to sell guns. And I always think about that. And for me, the idea of I don't want to make money. I would just like to live with less anxiety and fear about going back to normal and what that actually means and what that actually looks like. I don't want to make money. I just would like to feel less overprotective over my Black son when he is presented in the world and how the world sees him. I don't want to make money. I just want to make sure, and I am pretty sure at this point, we're never going back to normal again. Whatever that normal was, that's not something to return to. Saw somebody put yesterday, radical normalcy, and I'm really excited to explore this term and see what this means, of where we're going, of what is our new normal, what is our new radical normalcy, and excited about that. So yeah, those are my motivations. We still have so much work to do. The work is not done. And I just, again, my fear, the reason I'm here today, the reason I'm doing a commercial, again, because I'm not trying to do commercials. It's not really, don't really care that much. I mean, I do, right? I do, but come see me is not really it's not really my gig. However, I know a lot of people in my circle, and I've had interactions with a lot of people in my circle, and over the phone, over text, over Facebook, over Instagram, right? Over these medium. And I am concerned, to say the least, about all of the things that I've seen. And again, I'm not going to do the call-in call-outs today because quite frankly, I have too much other stuff to do. So be too long of an episode today, but that can still come. We're still, don't think because it's not being said today, it won't be said. Let me just be clear. However, I am very concerned, a la Martin Luther King, with the white moderate being the biggest impediment to change. And I refuse to let my people go back to being just another white moderate. I refuse to let the people that I know in my sphere of influence think that they can silence me, think that they can erase what is actually happening. If you didn't listen to Amanda Gorman's speech, I highly recommend going back and listening to it, watching it, absorbing it, because that is our direction. That's our direction. So hold on to that. Think about that. Get ready to do the work. If you think you've been doing the work, that's amazing. And we barely just begun. If you don't know what the work looks like for you, let's chat. I would love to connect. My prices are from absolutely free to very expensive, depending on what you should be paying. So that's your first step. Thinking about the privilege you have in your life, thinking about how much you want this revolution, thinking about what kind of world you want to see, and thinking about what you should pay for that right now. Black Lives Matter every damn day. We are here. We're not going anywhere. We're not going back to normal again. The world can be a better place. And what was it? What is Amanda Gorman? Be that light. We're going to be that light. Love you guys. Love your self-revolution. Have a lovely day. Drink your water, eat your veggies, do your yoga, meditation, exercise, physical movement. Get some sunshine if you can. Take some extra vitamin C if you need to. And we'll chat soon. Love you. Bye.